how to make a vest. They're pretty easy. At least this looks easy. I'll show you how. Coming up. Hey, Chanel here, bringing you weekly videos to help you get better and better with your fashion sewing. And be more creative too. So be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll never miss out on a new video. Okay, so I found this in my stash. Somebody donated some fabric and this was in there, and it's springtime here in North Carolina, and it says, "Happy spring! Happy spring! Hippity hop!" It's a vest. It's a panel. A panel fabric. I used to see these in the 70s. It's probably from the 70s. This is the back. And I think I'm gonna make it for me. It's gonna be funny. And so should I put pink behind it? Because I guess I need a whole behind part, a whole lining, or red. Red or pink. If I do the red, it'll look like Christmas. I want it to be pink. Yeah, I think pink and green is the best. So I'm gonna whip this up. I'll show you what it looks like. All right, how to make a vest. You cut out your panel, although you probably don't have a panel. Find a pattern. There's patterns. Vest patterns have not changed over the years, I tell you. There's no grain line on this, but I know that this would probably be right on the straight grain right there. And this is just a classic vest pattern right here. This is going to be funny. I can't wait to wear this. Happy spring, right? All right, so you just get your patterns cut out. I'm actually going to just use this, open this up, trace, use this as my pattern, and draw the next one. And get your self fabric, which that's this, and then your lining fabric, and then you sew them together. I'll show you how. Okay, got my lining down. Bright pink, happy spring. So I folded the back in half here, and I have it on the fold of the fabric. And then on this one, I have this following the selvage here. Just gonna cut there and chop this off here. And it probably, the fabric is kind of lifting up a little bit. I'll put a couple pins down through that to hold it down a little bit. Got my vest all cut out, even got my label cut out and pressed, because the first step is to sew in the label to the back. So I'm going to open up the right side up on the vest, find the half here, and then I'm just going to pin that down. I guess it's kind of go higher up like this, and then just stitch around this, top stitch it all down, and then I'll fill it out later, because maybe I'll give it to somebody for Christmas. Oh, we have Secret Santa's parties. This would be fun for Secret Santa party. Anyway, I'm gonna go sew that on. Okay, got my label on. Next step is to sew right sides together the shoulder seams. This is all 5/8, like the usual. So just the shoulder seams, not the side seams yet. Do all 4 of those, and then we press the seams open. This is the directions for the next part. So I just did the shoulders, and then you put them right sides together, and then you sew all around, and then you leave the side seams open right here. It's kind of a strange thing, and you'll be pulling the top part through the hole on the sides right here. looks like that. So lots of sewing to do on this, and I'm actually just going to be pinning all these. I know some people use clips. This would drive me crazy if I put a bunch of clips in here. They'd be clunking all over the place. I'm just gonna, and sometimes you can even just do these in steps too. You could just sew the front seam and then come back and pin the arm seams. I think that's what I'm gonna do, because then there's just a ton of pins and it seems to take forever. So match up these raw edges, make sure this is all flat, and pin the best I can. Also, one really good thing to do is to mark these pivot points here, because when you're actually at the machine, see this actually isn't matching up so good. Giving myself a pivot point here with the friction pen. I'll find the 5/8 like this, go down. I'm actually gonna go off this green part right here. I can see through it. And then, so when you're at the sewing at the machine, you really, it's so good to have like a little pivot point right there, because you think you can get it, but then it's like, it's a pain. And then pivot point here is good too. So 5/8, it's like where the two 5/8 meet up right there. And then that will make my life easier when I get to that point. Okay, finish this up. I'm gonna go sew all of this. Okay, got all that stitched. My little pivot points here. Stitch around, I did a little reinforcing, like a couple little back stitches, because I'm gonna be clipping it real close to the corner, and then you get a point turner in there to get it real sharp. These are some sharp points. I got it all the way around the neck. Now I have to do the armholes right here. I also made sure my seams are open, and make sure this is all laying flat. This fabric's pretty easy to work with. It's just the cotton broadcloths. Just stitch this around here. I always like to pin in the direction I'm going to sew. I'm going to be pulling the pins out this way. And it's not exactly matching up to my green there. I'm sloppy cutting. I'm just going to follow the pink though, because you got to just pick one and follow it. And then, because the pink for me right now is the easiest one to see. I'm going to do the other side. Start with the shoulder seams, make sure those are matched up. And I'll go sew this part, and while I'm there, I'm supposed to sew the back, the hem too. So that's just a straight 5/8 across. And the only thing I have left open are the side seams, and that's the way it's supposed to be. All right, I will go and sew the armholes now. Okay, got everything sewn together. Now, very important, we clip the curves. All of these curve seams will roll inside so much better. There's not too many curves here. So much better if the seams are clipped. So I clip close to the curves there. If you don't know what all that means, there is a sew-bit video on clipping the curves and what it means. I think it's in the first early days of my videos. Also, then you got to trim the points right here, so that's why I reinforced it. You want to get it real close to that. You don't cut the thread, but woohoo! And actually just kind of take out chunks of that, so when it rolls inside, it isn't so clumpy and thick. Make sure nothing's on the other side. And let's see what else, what other curves we have. We got a lot here. If you don't have little trimming shears, let's get some sharp shears and clip Also these, I like to kind of grade these out too and thin them out like that. All these corners, lots of trimming. I have a video out also called trimming the seams, or grading and trimming the seams, something like that. That's really important in sewing. It actually helps everything turn inside out really well. This is the front part. I'm going to just clip a little bit of that. Not too much curves in there. And then I'm going to switch over to my little other clippers. These are just fun to use. These are like strange little shears or scissors. Really sharp too. And I think they're Fiskars. Fiskar brands. Clip the curves. Sometimes you'll see where you actually chunk out V's like that. If it's real curvy, that's always a good idea. Here's some more. And chunking out that. All right, I think we're ready to turn it inside out. What you do is you take from the back side seam here, and you go put your hand all the way through. Oh boy, that's the shoulder. Yeah, not so easy. Just can only grab a little bit here, and then you pull it. This part gets pulled through somehow. Actually, it's this part. You gotta. It's like a little tube fabric, and then you just pull it through little by little. Looks like a mess. This is why I had that one student that did this, and I was so surprised how she figured it all out all by herself. She read the directions. I was so impressed. All right, there's the front right there, and then you get a point turner or a chopstick or something. Then you get it in there and carefully get the points out. And that's where we trimmed it, and the points are much sharper. And then you can use the rounded part of these to scoop all that out, and then it's just going to really need a lot of pressing. See, the clips that I did here really help this roll, and probably help this part too. Like that. And the pressing here, you don't want to just kind of press it like that. You actually want to really get these seams right up the edge and then get it pressed. So there's going to be a lot of pressing involved. And then, let's see if I can get into this side. It's so easy to get confused here. Found the back of that. But how do I get to, oh my gosh. I have to get that pulled through here. Gotta find the opening to it. Wow. It's in here somewhere. There it is. Oh my gosh. This will make you crazy. Pull that through. Okay. Little by little. And then, wonder, this probably has buttons and all on there, but I don't think I'll be putting buttons on it and stuff. Get that point turner, I lost it, there it is. Get these in here. Get my points out. Starting to look like a vest. Oh, and then this little rabbit here, he has no ears. Oh my gosh. So I found his ears. They're on this right here. And I have to make the ears. There's directions, and then you sew them on right here. To be kind of silly. Oh my gosh. Wonder what else other surprises I have to do. So there is my vest. Have to go really press this out, and then I sew the side seams, and it's ready to wear, except I need ears. And you could jazz this up like they did in the 80s and put rhinestones everywhere. All right, I'm gonna go take this to the iron and press it all out. All right, my vest is taking shape. It's looking like a vest. So I have it all nicely pressed, and you can really tell like how this, if you got to clip the curves in here, it rolls in a lot easier, and you can actually see the little clips through that. And if it doesn't roll in at certain parts, you want to get in there and clip it a little bit more. So now what we've got to do is do the side seams, sew up these side seams, and that's where it gets a little tricky. So let me show you how to do that. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I know how to make a vest, because reading this and looking at this picture right here, I can't tell what they're trying to say. I don't get this at all. Wow, all of a sudden this turns into the vest. Wow, so you should really watch this video, because I'll show you how to do it. And then it really, let's say, turn vest right side out by pulling fronts through the shoulder. Did that. Then it says flip fronts over onto back, right sides together, pin sides together, not catching in lining, matching seams at armholes and lower edges. Stitch from armhole to lower edge, being careful not to catch press seams open. I don't know, maybe I'm just tired, but it's not mentioned anything. So here's the side seam. Here's the side seam. These have to get sewn together. How do we do that? Actually, I got this prepped. So actually what we do is we get rid of one side. We, let's see, I got this ready. How did I do that? For starters, have to get it in. Actually, I'll show you what I did. Actually, I'm going to have to unpin this to show you. So you put your hand in between these two layers and pull this through here. I have a right sides together in a tube like this, and I'll be sewing around in the tube. And I'm actually, now I'm going to take this apart and show you how I got it there. That actually might help it explain it more. I've seen these vests and patterns explain that better, so don't worry about it. There's other patterns that will tell you better. So you would actually take your two sides like this, match them up just at the self side right here, not the lining yet. Right there, get those ready, and get your side seams or your seams right here matched up on both sides like that. And then let that go there, and then you put your hand through here to get to this side right here and grab it. I just stabbed myself. And then pull it through, and then you have the makings of the circle. Actually, what happened there? Yes, okay. So you have the two side seams together, and then it's like a circle here. So I'm going to put a pin. I'm going to have the side seams go up that way, and then I put a couple seams this way in here, and then you would sew. This is just on one side of the one side seam. Sew around in here like in a circle in that way. And I'll turn it inside out to see how that will then work. And you flip it back out, and you can see how this is going to work like that. One continuous. So you just do one side seam, and then the other side seam is done a little bit differently, like that. So first, go over to the sewing machine. I'm going to sew that up. Be right back. All right, got it sewn right there. I just used the seam guide and got it 5/8 right there. And you just flip it through like that. And there's that seam all pressed, and then sewn, and then I'll press the seam towards the back right here. Make sure that both sides are pressed towards the back. That'll make one nice side seam. It lined up really well right there. And now to do the other side seam, it's not as easy because you can't pull your hand through there. Actually, this is pretty easy. It does involve just a tad of hand stitching. So we're going to put this right sides together here, right there. Open up the lining area. Get the back and then the front. Get the two selfs, as it's called. And then we're going to match up the seams right here where they match. Hopefully they match. I like to put a pin in the middle. Make sure I get it real straight. If you sewed this all 5/8, all of this should match up really well on your pattern. There we go. So on that one. So now what we have to do is bring this lining front part here, and we're going to start. Gotta get this. Sometimes I just have to inch my way up here because I can't control the fabric. Fabric's sticking to itself. So I'm just going to start halfway here, sew the whole side seam there, and then try and grab as much of the other part of the lining as I can. It gets harder because the hole gets smaller here. So if I flip this inside out, I'll show you what's happening here without stabbing myself. So I have the side seam pinned right here, just like that, and then this way. Now the hole is right here, so that's what got to work inside there. So I started like here, a little bit of pink, and went around to the whole side seam and came around to a little bit more of the pink lining, working within that hole, and then that part's going to get hand stitched closed right there, or you can actually just grab the 2 layers and machine stitch it right there. So we've got to now pull this, it'll work inside this hole. Sort of like how you do infinity scarves. You got the little hole to work in to get it one continuous tube. But you won't be pulling it in and out on a vest. You'll just show anybody. You just do it. Okay, so I'm going to sew here and go around there and stop right around there. All right, got all that stitched right there. If I turn it all out that way, see, I have the hole right here, but the side seams are stitched right here. So now you just got to push the side seam to the back, just like the other side is going to be. Just push them all to the back, and then press it like that. And then this actually will go like that, and then this will fold over. And then I can hand stitch this part right there. Or I have to get pink thread out and machine stitch it because I have green thread in there. And there you go, that's the whole vest. So actually, right after I press that and stitch that, this whole vest is done. Ta-da! Now I gotta make the rabbit ears. And this was their pattern. They actually just took this pattern and placed it right sides here, and then said to sew around these little lines right there in a short stitch, because it said to help you with the curve, which was pretty cool. And then I got to trim it real close to the edges like that, both fabrics. This is how we make hearts in our fashion club. And then right here is supposed to be open, and then you turn it inside out, and then I'll have floppy ears to go on this guy, making the vest even funnier looking. All right, I'm going to finish this up and turn it inside out, and then I'm going to go and press my side seams and finish this up, and I'll show you how it looks. Ta-da! There is my spring vest. Ta-da! Have it under my, oh, I love the lining. Oh, love the lining. Anyway, and my little bunny ears. Those turned out pretty good. Although those are a little annoying. But anyway, this is just, sometimes, it'd be fun to go to like a little spring barbecue wearing this vest. Be fun. I like to wear funny clothes, and then people are like, what are you wearing? Anyway, I'm like, I made it. It's always fun to say. But I love this, the girl from the panel, I'm thinking total 80s, right? Because I don't know how old this vest has been around. On this panel, nobody made it after all these years. So I'm going to guess the mid 80s on this by the size of her earrings and her hair and the flip up of the collar. So I'm thinking the 80s. That would be 30 years, something like that. This panel had been hanging around, waiting for somebody to make it. Oh, finally made it. Anyway, I pulled out some patterns from my stash, and there's all kinds of this is a classic vest pattern, and they're all, I can't say all, but most of them are put together this way, and the instructions are a little difficult to figure out. Like, 'cause, I mean, how do they show that in an illustration, pulling the fronts through the back and then getting into the side seams and all? So it's a little troubling. But what I had a little girl named Hayden doing a vest, and she was 9. And I sat there and watched her like read the directions and then just trying to play around with it to get it figured out. And she totally figured out. It really surprised me. I was so happy to see it because her little engineering brain was working and trying to solve the problem. I loved it. And because that's not easy. But vests are fun to wear, just a little accent piece on it. Easy to make. This is a really cool vest too. It doesn't get put together the same way this one does. I don't believe. I had a couple students make this vest, and it was my teenagers really liked this one, so pretty fun. Anyway, let me know in the comments below if you have any comments or questions. If you like my vest, let me know. If you don't let me know, because I'm very proud of it. I'm going to be wearing this maybe while I garden, although I don't garden. Maybe I'll give it to my sister-in-law who gardens. So I kind of feel like a Girl Scout in this. Maybe I have Girl Scouts in my classes. Maybe I can help them sell their cookies and wear this, because I feel like a Girl Scout in this. It's really funny. I'm going to wear this when I want to embarrass somebody. That'd be funny. So I'll come to their party and go, hey, how's it going? So, all right. See you in the next Sew-Bit video.